Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just at the finish line.
Mr. Bartlett?
Here.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Here.
Ms. Gelbaugh?
Aye.
Dr.
Here.
Lewis?
Sorry, whatever, here.
Mrs. Rankin?
Here.
Mr. York?
Here.
All right, has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes, last meeting?
Yes?
Any questions, any changes? No?
Not here.
Not here? All right, a motion and a second to accept, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
I abstained since I wasn't here.
Oh, that's right. Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Gelbaugh?
I wasn't here either.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Do I have any votes anywhere?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin? Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. All right, we'll accept those minutes. All right, in communications, Chief, first one up. Everybody had a chance to look at the monthly report, police report. Any questions regarding that report? Any questions for the chief?
Not here.
No?
You know, one thing, I saw in the police report, I know Rick Hines knows this. Some people are stealing checks out of mailboxes.
Mailboxes, uh-huh.
Especially the big blue boxes, these guys who's put, I think it might have been in the paper today or yesterday about the mailmen are getting robbed. They take these arrow keys of theirs and they're stealing the checks out of the
Yep.
mailboxes. And they can wash them, and
Yep.
it's unbelievable what they're doing. I don't know how they do it.
Best of humanity right there.
Please?
It's the best of humanity right there.
But my suggestion is don't mail your mail from your own personal
the box.
mailbox, you know. I'd walk into the post office and send it.
I think we actually captured some footage, though, of one over on Massonville Road.
We've been working with the postal inspectors on some of the cases, and I think some of our investigations, helping them out with some stuff, so.
That's good.
I think they had a couple of people they indicted federally last week.
Yeah, I'm
And,
representing a
and
couple
there's,
of
I
those,
think
yeah.
there's probably more to come.
Right. I don't know how, I'd like to learn how they do it. It's,
Well, they still,
Okay. You do,
right,
Ed,
exactly.
you do realize that's on the record, right?
I don't know how they wash them is what I mean. Yeah, How do you wash them?
I have
Because
no
when-
idea.
When you
So
look
we
at
don't
them,
know.
they look
Yes.
And if I
perfectly
did-
legitimate, you
Yes,
know.
that's my
I
bad.
wouldn't tell you.
Whatever, go ahead.
okay, all right.
Chief, I
Oh,
have
yeah.
a question for you after the meeting.
Okay?
Okay, we don't have Chief Copeland's fire
My bad.
report this month. But if you have any questions, obviously, contact Dan directly. All right, for the superintendent, Mr. Scherpenberg, monthly report, any questions regarding that? John,
I just have a service department related question.
please.
The crosswalks that all got painted, did you guys do that?
Which one?
For the, like, down, Plainville and Murray and down by the school? It looked like they'd been freshened up. I thought maybe for the Flying Pig they had been. Well, they look nice.
Well, we will be freshening the crosswalk on Miami Road at Rembold there. It's, that's not a painted crosswalk, that's a hot tape, if I'm correct. Yes.
But see, we're reacting again. We should have a process for this.
Well, we are
Instead
developing
of reacting to,
a schedule.
I mean, we should have a process for this. I sent an email with a list in August before school opened, and none of them have been touched. We get one citizen complain, and that happens. I understand responding to citizens, but as long as we keep reacting, we're never going to get ahead of this. We need a proactive, systematic approach to this.
Chuck, I think you're helping to work on some of that, right?
Yeah,
In terms
I
of
mean,
laying out
we are working on a plan, an approach.
But I agree with you, Randy. We need to get proactive instead of reactive.
Bill?
When you say to this,
Well, to
What does
the, I
that
said, before school started.
Yeah.
Because there's a crosswalk that 100 kids walk
Right.
across, right on West Street. It's awful. The lines aren't even there. So I said, you know what, school's about to start, we gotta look at the crosswalks around the schools, we gotta look at the yellow, parking around the schools, and I think I said it in July, if school starts at the end of August, we ought to get it updated before school starts. None of them have been touched. They still look like they did last July.
Well, when I came down Madisonville Road last night, it looked like the crosswalk at West Street had been painted. I just happened to notice when I'm driving back from the airport that it just, I mean, it was my headlights that made it look
maybe
good,
it
but-
could have been the
but
rain.
I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been the rain.
Is that you? Oh, so why do you, what's your thoughts around it not having a plan currently?
Well, we normally try to do that, because especially with baseball, we'll do the yellow curves and around Mariemont Avenue, Pleasant Street was there.
Okay.
We did get a lot of yellow curves done last year, but we didn't get to the white ones. So, but that will hopefully do that this year, just have one guy go.
So it was a staffing issue?
Yeah.
Do we have a plan that
Well, we normally
typically?
try to hit around the schools every year, because the white, when you paint, the paint doesn't stay very long. The
Okay.
hot tape is a lot better.
Gotcha.
But it's more expensive, so that's why we paint it like this, stuff like that. So, but I do have a box of on Miami on Wednesday, try to heat the ground up with it. It's supposed to be hot that day in the 80s, so a couple of houses out.
So do we have a hot crosswalk plan then, or it's just not written?
Nothing written, it's not,
Okay. And then this year it didn't happen because of staffing?
right.
Okay, because we were short-staffed.
Well, knowing, because we're busier this year.
Okay.
So it was the first year we didn't outsource.
Gotcha.
No,
Okay.
last year we didn't outsource either.
Correct, that was our first year we didn't.
Last year, yeah.
Okay. All right. So but we're gonna have a plan going into,
Yeah, we'll just take the two guys and have them start painting everything, hot tape, whatever.
Well, to your point, John, does it, if school's out in what, a couple of weeks? I don't know when it's out.
End of June, or first of May.
June
End of
2nd.
May, first of June.
Yeah, okay.
Matt.
Well, if it gets worn off over time, do we just wait and do it until August then? I mean, I don't know.
Well, if we can get the hot tape, we can put that, that'll last longer.
Okay.
So painting gets worn out, but hot tape lasts longer.
Okay.
A lot of times you'll have utility companies that come in and they'll tear up the section, but they don't put the hot tape back in. So, and issues like that, or throughout the area.
so do we have typically, is there, like, how do you make those decisions? Is it just, okay, like, we have a
Well-
list of all the crosswalks and then
Yes.
just a calendar that we update them?
Well, we have a list of all the crosswalks and the yellow curves, so
Okay,
we try to just have a guy whenever he came out there to start on it. So
okay,
it
okay.
usually will take 1 to 2 people to do traffic. See if this,
Oh, good point.
while it's painting, dry, you have to make sure nobody drives
Drives
it.
across it.
Do half of it, let it dry, and do the other side, let it dry.
So what I'm yeah, we don't have to talk about it now. I guess what I'm hearing though is a plan, like, you just deploy people as you have them?
Well, we only have 4 people.
Yeah.
So, I was myself, so
Okay,
just depends on schedule, and depends on the weather.
gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Do we paint the yellow lines down the roads, down the middle of the road?
We can.
We can.
We put it down, like, we put it down West Street, when they decided they wanted the line there. We did it one time on Settle, at one time we did that. And then-
Well, we've had a request
Yeah,
to repaint Miami Hill.
Right.
Right, yeah, I talked to John Friday about that.
Okay, so
So
we're,
we can probably just get our paint sprayer going, if I can get the yellow paint,
yeah,
we can do that as well.
yeah, take a look at it, because apparently it's worn fairly thin up there, I guess, yeah. Okay. All right, any other questions regarding the, no, all right. All right, the tax, monthly tax report, any questions regarding that? Mr. Barlow, any comments?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Hey, Chuck, I can't remember. Was last year, the date for the federal return was that May in 2021? No, 2022? Yeah, I remember they pushed it back, you know, they,
2022, yes, it was May.
okay.
I have to double check on that,
So it
but
always
that was
has-
the year before.
it's
But it's
sort
still, over the last, like the projection sheet I have in there, it's a 3-year average.
Yeah.
and each of the 3 years had
It's
different
been
due
different
dates.
due
So it's
dates,
gonna
yeah.
come back. This year came back to April.
Yeah.
Going forward, God forbid barring another shutdown, it should stay April, so we'll see that.
Yeah, so once we get May's data, that'll be a true apples to apples versus
Yeah,
last year.
I'd wait till, the quarter. I'd wait even till the end of the quarter.
Okay.
Just to make sure, but yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
I take it back, though. Last year was due in April.
It was also, okay.
It was in April.
I couldn't,
because
yeah, I
I'm
know they
thinking-
moved it
When I got
around.
done, because I was able to get through, it was just me, when I got through the mail, I got done right at the end of May. And right now, we're doing pretty good. We have a little less than 1/3 of a mail to finish, so Patty's been doing a great job, so.
Great.
Okay, good, good. Okay, we have the email from the Hamilton County Solid Waste Plan. We also have a resolution later in the program here tonight. So, Chris, do you have any comments to make about, how this, we apparently have to have legislation adopting the plan, so on and so forth?
I will research, I didn't get a copy of it, so.
Okay.
You can take a look at it.
Okay. Well, y'all, you can read it if you have any questions about it. Okay, the next, let's see, we have the spending request. This is for the electric service to be added to the 2 medians adjacent to Starbucks and the Mariemont Inn. Any questions regarding this?
I have a question.
Okay?
And it's a concern also, because I'm not really sure, we only appropriated 15,000 for this, correct?
Yes.
So why does it jump to 30?
Well, the original estimate from the electrician came in at something like $40,000 to do the work. We met with him and we renegotiated certain things that, how we were going to do it to cut it down. We got that contract cut back, and Mr. York and I were involved in that. We got it cut back to about 20, was it 21 or 22, I believe, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so we were $7,000 short over the appropriated amount. We went over and talked to Mr. Spinnenweber and asked him if he would wish to contribute to the project, because he would, benefit from the trees being lighted, and he wants to have a Christmas display and so on and so forth. So he contributed the additional $7,000. Then when I proceeded, I found out that Duke wants an additional $7,500 or $600 it is to actually run the service under Wooster Pike out to the islands. Then I went back to Richard and talked about this, and we reappropriated within certain line items, things that weren't going to be used. We moved the line item, and it doesn't require coming back before council to do this, to make up the difference for that other $7,000 or $7,600.
And, why are we spending this money to put electricity? That seems like a want, not a need, and that's a lot of
To
money.
electrify the medians, though, I think it adds a great deal to the charm and the character of the village. To be able to light those medians and light those trees adds a certain degree of, it's sort of a welcoming kind of ambiance that you're creating out there. That would be year-round, and then it would allow you to do additional Christmas displays and things like that over the holidays. And additionally, also, for certain things like the Kiwanis Festival and things like that, when they have the arts fair, or I think they call it the arts fair kind of a thing. There's a big need to have electricity out there. We're constantly running extension cords and things like that across the pike. Trucks and things run over it. It's way better to have electricity out there.
So this is just that one big island, is that right?
It's in the two meters.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, there is a
So
break
between-
point. There's, okay,
Madisonville Road and West Street.
yeah.
Well, yes, between the
medians are
square,
on-
basically, between the square and West Street.
Where the
yes.
picnic tables are right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So when you say light the trees up, you're talking about like an up?
We're talking about,
type thing?
what we would be doing is we would be placing a receptacle at the base of every tree so that you could plug something in there for the arts fair and other things, Porsche Rally or anything like that, kind of a thing. But also, you'd have a couple options. On top of that particular, it's just a little 3x4 square electric box,
Okay.
a single receptacle box. You can mount a light on top of that, and it would be an LED light, so it would be low wattage, low electrical usage. And that would shine up under the tree. We all know what uplighting trees looks like, kind of a thing. So yes, that's how that would be. And in order to keep the expense of this project down. I mean, listen, guys, I think in order, I basically, between Randy, I, and Mr. Scherpenberg, we got the original cost of this contract almost cut in half because we are going to be doing a lot of the digging and trenching ourselves. The electrician will actually be laying the conduit and the wire.
So how did Duke come about? They just,
Well, Duke
I'm
sort
sure
of.
this is a happy story.
Yeah, I was not happy about that. And because we like last fall, we met with Duke and explained what it was we wanted to do and how you were going to get the electric to those islands. There was no mention that there would be this kind of a charge, to basically, they're not going to dig the street up. They have to bore under, you know what I'm saying?
good for
They're not going to
that.
break the street, kind of a thing.
Good.
So. And it seems a little, I mean, we want electrical service on those islands so that we can consume some electricity. You would sort of think that they would want to.
Yeah, help you facilitate
help
that.
us with that in some way. But I understand, I mean, it's labor intense, there's a lot of work to do that, I get that. But anyway, that's how we arrived at the $30,000 figure.
And so we're going to be paying that extra cost for the electricity. I mean, this is a big expenditure, in my opinion. And, I mean, I think that it's a lot of money. I'm not sure who's really going to benefit from it more than Mr. Spinnenweber. And to tell the truth, I talked to the elementary school again today because I wanted to make sure I'm correct. They won't even let people park in their parking lots during elementary school functions.
Well, no, but I
So-
mean, we do have use of those lots during, off-school hour times.
But I'm just saying, it's not like he's really friendly to the residents. It's about making money for his hotel
Well,
and his
I
businesses.
mean, obviously, the inn, the Exemplar, all the businesses along there, I think will benefit from sort of creating this ambiance that this kind of thing does. I mean, like I said, I believe it's a more welcoming kind of a doormat that we're putting out there saying, come to Mariemont,
So are you going to,
we're charming and we're,
Charming.
yeah.
yeah.
So, in terms of, though, the actual electrical usage, given the fact that these are going to be LED-type fixtures, those are low-consuming electric fixtures. It's not like the old incandescent bulb, that we're out there lighting all these trees with, and the meter might be spinning on that one, in that regard. Yes.
I want to get back to the parking lots, just to clarify. Not being able, say that again about not being able to use the park.
When the elementary school has a function, the parents are not allowed to park in the parking lot behind. So where the Starbucks and all that stuff is, they lock the gate that is on the side of the school, and they put signs up saying if anyone parks in here and goes to the school, they'll be towed.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you were saying that we couldn't use the school parking lot.
So they
That's what I
can't
wanted.
use
Yeah.
Spinnenweber's parking lot.
Yeah. Well, he is conducting a business. I mean,
No, I
he
understand
has-
that, but it's not very often, and he's towing cars.
Cars,
And the residents are the ones who use his businesses the most.
True. What, has anybody ever been towed?
Does he own the executive building parking lot?
Yes.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I
that's
was
the one
gonna
that he
ask.
Probably, so they close, he closes that gate there?
Occasionally, you do see that gate closed, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can still access the parking lot, you just can't access it through that gate or exit through the gate.
Off of Madisonville Road and off of the Pike, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't cut through there on foot, right? Because it's all, right?
Yeah.
So folks wouldn't park there if there's something going on at the elementary school.
Yeah. You'd have to go around.
Yeah, you'd have to go around. What
I
about,
would say that we could meet with Bill. I mean, my interactions with Bill, he's been reasonable and supportive.
Oh, he's very nice. I've talked to him
So
too, but I
I'm
think,
surprised by, I believe you, clearly it happens.
I think it might be a good thing to bring up in all of this, is just say, hey, we're doing this for you. Why don't you let our residents use the parking lot during elementary school functions?
Well, we can clearly, I mean, like I
I
said,
mean, even if it was limited to
We can
some of
talk to him.
the spots closer to the executive building, rather than the ones closer to the Strand?
yeah, the Strand, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
a few, whatever. It's a thought.
All right. Any other questions regarding the expenditure?
No.
Okay. I think I need a vote on this one,
Yes,
don't
you
I?
do.
A motion then and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh?
No.
No? Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. All right. All right, permission to address council. I guess we don't have any
Chris?
folks come in tonight. All right, let's pay the bills. Any question regarding the bills? I didn't see anything that really stood out this time. No questions? No? Dr. Lewis?
No.
Well, I mean, you seem to be studying it. I didn't want to.
I'm just looking it over.
Okay, all right.
Checking my list and checking
Change twice, yes. All right, a motion and a second to pay the bills, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mrs. Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, we'll pay the bills. Okay, I think we have the one committee report. Susan, or who's going to read this?
Susan does.
The Rules and Law Committee met on April 10th, 2023 at 6:10 PM. Present were Committee Chairperson Susan Brown Knight, Committee members Kelly Rankin and Marcy Lewis. Also in attendance was Chuck Barlow. The Rules and Law Committee discussed recodifying the Mariemont Code of Ordinances. It was agreed and recommended to proceed with the recodification. Appropriate funds have been allocated and budgeted. The cost, including shipping, is not to exceed $13,000. This recodification will also include the update of the online version. This recodification will include updates through April 30th, 2023. The Rules and Law Committee recommends that the first reading of the legislation be read at the May 8th, 2023 meeting.
All right.
And do you have the signed copy? Thank you.
All right. All right, any discussion regarding what we're doing? I think we're all.
Yeah. How many hard copies are we down to?
What, two? Are we
What?
just doing two?
I'm sorry?
Hard copies?
Maybe 5.
Five? Oh geez, we're
Maybe.
really, we're doing five.
Okay. Because I think we've gotten it down over time.
Yeah, we have gotten it down.
Which is good, because that tends to be more expensive than the online stuff.
The online is really helpful to me, I can tell you.
You can do searches.
Do you know, Susan, there's been substantial changes to the Ohio Revised Code relative to traffic laws. And what we do in our mayor's court here is we simply mirror the Ohio Revised Code as far as the traffic laws go. Will this
Yes.
updating of the code, or Joni, do you know the answer?
Yes.
It does, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, a motion and a second to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mrs. Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right. Accept that report.
Nice job.
That's all, Joni.
Joni, do we have to do this too? Do we have to approve this spending request? For the-
Oh, yes. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
Mayor.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
There is the $13,000 spending request in order to do that. Sorry.
I don't think we need any discussion. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think this is necessary and I appreciate the work. So I move that we accept the spending request.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
Is that all there is in miscellaneous? Am I missing something? Do I not have that on the bottom of my page?
Did you not get one page? Okay, here, you read that, and
Okay.
then it goes to that.
Okay, I don't, unless it, all right, under miscellaneous, village offices will be closed in observance of Memorial Day, Monday, May the 29th, 2023. Memorial Day Parade. I expect everybody at this parade, Mr. Bartlett, will be held, again, May 29th, 2023. The parade actually begins at 8:30. We will start to sort of congregate over on Plainville Road, getting lined up, getting things in place and all in order. Village fireworks will be held Monday, July the 3rd. That's Monday, July the 3rd, 2023, of course, beginning at dusk. And village offices will be closed in observance of Independence Day on Tuesday, July the 4th. And you'll be hearing that again before the fireworks go off. All right, starting with,
You ready?
yes, I'm ready.
Okay. This is third reading, resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for current expenses and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith.
All right, that's the third reading. A motion and a second to accept, please.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get, see a second? Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
Okay.
All right. This is the third reading, resolution recreational purposes of the and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith.
All right, motion and a second to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Brown Knight?
Aye.
Ms. Gelbaugh?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Okay. This is the third reading to accept bid of the Kleinger's Group for the construction drawings for the rehabilitation.
Reading. Motion and a second to accept.
Can I, Claire, I'm sorry, I know the discussion was last time, I just,
It's all right, go ahead.
can we, is there any value to amending it, approving, I'm sorry, pending the receipt of the money from MPF?
But you're gonna get reimbursed, you're not gonna ask them for it up front.
Well, I mean,
wouldn't.
I know that, right, no, you pay for it. But I just want to make sure that's in stone.
Has the grant application been accepted by them?
Yeah, I guess there's a little,
Chuck has his hand raised.
Yeah, okay. I know this has been an issue.
I get, clarification. So approving the third reading, or having the third reading, does that approve then going forward with the contract?
Yeah.
Or what about, because here's the thing, talking to Richard today, he sent the money or the request down, the certificate of revenue. That hasn't gotten back yet, because it's not gonna be voted on by the county until the 16th. That's when their budget committee meeting is, to approve it. So I don't know if we want to table approving the third reading, or you had it, but we probably need to wait for the budget commission, because he has to have that back in hand to be able to do the appropriations to get it done. And then I also know, I guess, the MPF passed some kind of resolution, so we're in a situation with the money, the chicken and the egg, which is coming first. So there's concerns about that.
Well, I believe.
Because Richard's concern, or the concern would be, we do this and appropriate, but then, I guess with this just passed, whenever, at the last MPF meeting, that conceivably the MPF could possibly change their mind.
But we wouldn't necessarily then have to actually, I mean, we wouldn't sign the contract.
Well, that's kind of where we are with the question. Are we approving tonight to go ahead and sign the contract? Or, I know we have to have appropriations, that's where it gets kind of,
Well, yeah, I know this. I mean, both Richard and I would have to sign the contract. It would be my understanding, even if I decided to sign the contract until he's got the money in his hand, I don't think he would sign it. So I don't know, I mean, I'm not sure where that leaves us here
It's kind- that's-
tonight if we.
yeah, I mean, we've got the letter, because Richard was able to send down with that letter down to the county, send it down
Yes.
with the appropriation change, or the change of the budget of revenue, I'm sorry, the revenue certificate.
Right.
Get it straight. But they don't meet, again, so he won't have that back in his hand, hopefully quick, but they don't meet until the 16th. And we need it back by the 22nd, the second.
I'd table it for right now, and let's
Next
wait till
meeting.
the 16th until that goes through. That seems to me to make the most sense, don't you think?
Safest way,
It's a lot of money.
yeah.
I have to agree with that.
So,
I thought it had already been approved.
Well, they sent I think Richard got a letter of, I guess,
Intent,
intent
right.
for, yeah. And it had, I know some of the monies he was able to do because it was specific, but there were some unrestricted funds on there that we can't do anything with yet because the MPF has to say, we want it for ABC.
And do they vote on that? What is the deal over there?
I have no idea.
Not sure.
Marcy, you're on the.
Yeah, I missed that meeting, but I did talk to a couple people who were there. And the motion was made that before any money is spent on any centennial project, that the entire Board of Trustees gets a chance to vote for it, as opposed to just the officers. Okay? So it just opened it wider so that there was more participation and, I guess, consensus among the MPF.
Okay, when you say the entire, so you're talking about all 25 trustees, or is it just the trustees that are present at that meeting?
I would assume if there's a quorum and it's on the agenda, then it would be sufficient.
Okay.
And do you think it's a simple majority, or, I guess I'd want to know what the definition of majority is for their vote.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure we need to get into the weeds. I'm just trying
Right,
to
I'm just
understand, you know, are
I
we
don't
talking
recall
about?
in any of my time at MPF, any discussions about supermajorities.
Yeah.
It's always just been a straight majority thing. But we do have to have a quorum. There have been other times too, like during COVID, where we would send an email and you could email your vote in.
That's partially what I was asking. I know in the past, they've sort of done that as well. I didn't know whether they were, and again, I'm not really sure.
I'm not
that's
sure if
even-
that distinction was
Yeah,
made.
I'm not sure, but that's even our concern here per se. I think, so what is, are we making a motion then to table this here? Is that what we're doing?
Is the question, if for some reason MPF doesn't approve the funding of this thing, are we going to go forward with the Kleinser's group?
We got about $800,000 we need to give back
Oh,
to
is that right?
funders if we do that.
We spent that much money?
No, not
No, we haven't spent anything.
Collected,
No.
collected.
But
We
that's
collected
collected.
800?
All for
Good
Dogwood
for
Park?
you.
No, for the
Donations?
Centennial.
Okay.
So Ed, can you change the wording in this to, I want to go back to Bill's point. Can you just change the wording in this to say pending the passage, the acceptance of the Hamilton
that's-
County and the whatever?
And the appropriate appropriations?
absolutely.
Yeah, that's.
Well, no, and also the MPF thing. Let's just say pending.
Yeah, make a
MPF
motion
Right,
to
that's
amend
what
to
I
include those
do
suggested
that.
from the start.
And so then we could pass it.
Right.
And then, because to your point, you've been given authorization pending those two things.
Yes,
So-
I,
Yeah? Okay.
So?
So so
Make
now
the
we
motion
need
Okay,
to amend.
so I move that we make an adjustment, a change to this to say, in section 1, you know, where it says mayor is authorized to enter into contract for said work pending, pending the, what's the word, Chuck, for
pending
the Hamilton.
The approval of the Hamilton County Budget Commission and getting that certificate back in hand, and then.
And then the
I'll be honest,
MPF
the
approval.
MPF decision thing, that's kind of thrown a quandary on not just this spending, but it's going forward, any money coming from MPF. Because we're gonna have to wait for them to approve.
Yeah,
And it gets into the weeds of, all right, but then are we allowing an outside third party to approve government spending or not?
Well, but we've
It gets
we've
cut,
done
yeah.
that with the tennis courts in the school too, right? I mean, we also said, okay, we need to have and we did that with them. We said, here's a contract. We've done it also with Columbia Township, with Grove.
Right.
So we've done
Yeah,
this, you know.
it's just it kind of threw a wrinkle.
Sure,
is
sure.
what it did,
But again, so I would just, pending Hamilton County approval of the budget and MPF approving this spending on their part.
And I would speculate that really won't be an issue for them to approve it, because I know from reading that letter from Biff that there's plenty of money designated just to Dogwood Park.
Yeah, I don't,
Yep.
really, I don't see that either. I think all we're trying to do here is just make certain that we're sort of proceeding in a way that we sort of all agree to in terms of when it comes to spending like this.
cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Did you have that then, Joe?
I do. We need a second.
Second,
Oh, okay.
second.
Second. All right, Mr. Bartlett?
so we're voting now to.
To
Amend.
Amend right now.
Amend.
Voting to
Vote
amend,
to
so,
amend.
aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Gelbach?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Ms. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
So the amendment is pending approval of the Hamilton County Budget Commission and Mariemont Preservation Foundation approving this expenditure. Okay.
Okay,
So now we need a motion, a second to adopt.
to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Brown Knight?
Aye.
Ms. Gelbach?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Ms. Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. Well, that was easy.
Sure was.
Okay.
All right, to appoint Brad Lockhart, I'm sorry, go ahead.
This is the third reading to appoint Brad Lockhart as a member of the Parks Advisory Board for calendar year 2023.
All right, that is the third reading. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second. Okay.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Brown eye?
Aye.
Mrs. Gelbaugh?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. Brad's on. Now, on this next one, do you want to outline this for us quickly?
Yes, so what happened with Becca Vianel, she's actually going to be withdrawing her name because we're going to hire her. So we need to have, the person that we had lined up to teach swim lessons got a different job. And Mike and I have been talking about this, and we want to have an adult down there at least 3 days a week. And so we asked Becca, instead of being put on the committee, the pool committee, would it be okay if she was given a job? She's going to be an assistant manager in charge of swim lessons, and she can't be on the pool committee and have a job. It's an ethics violation. So she's decided to go ahead and take the job.
Okay, so what we need here is a motion to withdraw.
Right.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown eye?
Aye.
Mrs. Gelbaugh?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right.
Okay. This is the first reading to authorize the recodification of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances.
All right, that's the first reading. We'll have the second reading next time.
Okay, this is also the second reading to appoint Tina Getter as a member of the Architectural Review Board for the calendar year of 2023.
Okay, this is the first reading.
What did I say?
I think
You said second.
I think
Did I
you
say,
said second.
okay, I was
minus
writing
one.
second for next time. First, to fulfill the unexpired term of John Bentley.
All right, that was the first reading. We'll have the second reading next time.
Okay, this is the first reading, a resolution approving the update of the solid waste management plan of the Hamilton County Solid Waste Management District.
Again, first reading, second reading next time. Then we have no ordinances tonight. All right,
I'd like to ask,
sure.
that's it. In my committee, there is still what happened in my pages? Can I see yours?
Yeah, what are you looking for?
Thank you.
Here. Page 2, page 3.
The thing in my committee about the mowing and the leaves.
Yes.
Mm-hmm, mowing and leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
don't
think,
have-
I think it didn't copy
Okay,
this back.
I'm-
Yeah,
Okay, good, thank you for not making it be me.
Okay.
That's, we're not gonna do anything about mowing and leaves at
So you
this
want
point in
that
time.
to come off?
Just take it off, please.
okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
All right, does anyone else wish to make a commentary or remark regarding the task list?
I have one.
Yes, please.
So, and this is just because we have so many different committees working on Hiawatha, Rimbold, Miami, if we could have Health and Rec, Public Works, and Safety all have a meeting at once to discuss what we're doing on each section, so that we don't,
Yeah, it's a lot of
Like,
crossover.
yeah.
Or do we do, sorry, Randy, a committee of the whole?
Yeah, it seems,
That'd be better.
yeah, just bring the whole group together.
Bring everybody in. We can do it.
and then we
Yeah,
can
and everybody
figure
should know
out.
what's going on with that anyway,
Yeah.
whether you're working on
It's
it.
big enough, right, right.
Yeah.
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 It's a
Good
big,
idea.
right.
Yep.
Okay.
And we need to get Hiawatha done, don't we? Did we get the bid to straighten it?
No. I have to get. First of all, we have to award the contract, and then I can ask for a change order price to
Okay.
do whatever else we want to do.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we do need to meet to discuss, because right now we haven't even approved the contract to go forward with the rehabilitation.
But,
Okay.
but we also could potentially get separate funding to straighten it out, right? I mean, it's part of the OKI thing.
Right.
So we wouldn't, this is one of the ones where it's a little tricky about what goes first. It's like,
Right,
okay,
chicken and the
we
egg.
don't want to straighten it out and then apply for money to help straighten it out. It's like, okay.
Right, so the question is, yeah, where do we stop the Hiawatha project?
Yeah.
It might be best to stop it at Indian View and that's it, and then let the next round of grants determine what we do for the intersection and other.
So you're talking about the trail grant, the OKI grant? Is that what you mean, Ron?
Well, no, it's, Chris has explained this, if you remember the finance subcommittee. So go ahead, Chris, here's yours.
So we've got grant money in place to rehabilitate Hiawatha.
Right.
And we have an alternate where we can remove the pavement of Indian View between
Yes.
Rembold and Hiawatha.
Yes.
So that's the second alternate. Since we're not gonna take the first alternate, which was the sidewalk down to the high school, we can't take the second alternate either.
Okay, yeah.
So the only question is, well, we have to award the contract to the low bidder for just the Hiawatha Avenue rehabilitation,
Section.
basically stopping at Indian
Indian
View.
View. Mhm.
And then after we do that, I can get a change order price for any other additional work we might want
Okay.
to do.
Okay, I understand.
So, but if we stop the work there, then you've got a clean break of what do we want to do
Right.
with the intersection, extension, straightening, all that stuff,
Straightening,
as part of another grant next year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
And we
that
could
intersection.
apply as early as June 2nd for that work.
Okay.
That's when the OKI grants are due.
Okay.
Yeah,
June 2nd for, wow,
yeah, it's fast.
Well, it's coming up.
holy for holies, yeah.
So I was going to ask if, we have a meeting on Friday, Public Works and Service, to talk about the Transit Infrastructure Fund grants. Maybe at that meeting, we should approve the Hiawatha, or
Okay.
we can do a separate one, but
Just,
be thinking about that.
yeah, no, add it to the agenda, it seems like, yeah. So, but the meeting is for sorta. Do we need to
It
talk
is.
this OKI thing then too?
It would be prudent.
Yeah, if June 2nd's the
We're
deadline.
talking about all the other, because the TIG grants, or Transit Infrastructure grants, are due May 31st.
Yeah.
So the OK grants, yeah, due June 2nd, so.
Might as well
So
get
we
it
would
in.
have to redo the public notice that's been sent?
Yes.
It hasn't been sent.
Has it? Okay. Are you going to send something then?
I am,
Okay.
So that's Friday at 4, right?
Correct.
yes.
So you want to add this part to it?
I'd like to add Hiawatha just to get the contract awarded, and then we can do a separate ordinance for that as on an emergency to just get that project started. Then I can have a pre-construction meeting for Hiawatha and the tennis courts together, because it's the same contractor, right? And then we could discuss, as well, the transit infrastructure grants, also the OKI grants. Now,
So is that, can you come to that? Okay, good.
Okay, did I miss it? What date are we talking?
But that's a Public
Friday.
Works meeting,
I,
which is gonna be
Friday,
Friday,
this coming
Yes,
Friday.
This Friday.
4 o'clock.
yeah. The notice hasn't gone out yet, but it will.
Okay. And that, I mean, that'll be a meeting.
But then the committee, the whole meeting will be a completely different
No,
meeting.
no, this
too.
is Public Works.
Oh, this-
Yeah, this is just Public
I
Works,
thought there was a hitch there.
yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get it straight here one of these days, by Saturday.
Of what week? This week?
Yeah. All right, any other, who else, does anybody else wish to make commentary on the,
On the task list, yes, I have
Yes.
good news and bad news.
okay.
Good news, the wooden poles are all down
Let me ask you that.
on Murray.
Yeah.
yay!
Bad news, I still gotta contact him because there's one pole over, Leah sent me a picture earlier at 6961 across the way where most of the poles were literally right next to each other. This pole must have been about 3 feet or so away, and it had wires that came
Yeah,
off
it's
the
kind of-
ground.
the wires
So-
are still hanging
So
there.
now they're hanging, they're coming out of the ground, and they're
Yeah.
electric taped
Where is that
around.
at,
Yeah.
Leah? Where is it at?
On,
6966.
Murray.
Yeah, right there between those
It's
two.
right across the street from the Fallon's house.
Yeah, so the
It
poles are
figures.
gone.
I know.
Of
Of
course
course
it
it
is.
is. Of course it is.
yeah.
So I guess we can change the task from poles to wires. So, but we'll get in touch with them and see what's going on, because I'm going to determine, again, I don't know if they're Spectrum, I'm assuming they're probably Spectrum wires. So,
Yeah, I think, I mean,
but yeah, it comes up right out of the ground, it's kind of angled over, and
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
just taped around. Yeah, it's not good. But we'll get that taken care of too.
okay.
Hopefully quicker than the wooden poles. But
Good job.
Thank you.
May I?
Please.
Number 3 on a task list, where it's got Cleanup Village, hydrants and curbs, et cetera, and the delightful Mr. York signed to that, we should probably take hydrants off of there, because that's in Public Works.
Okay,
So we can just, we'll just put curbs, et cetera.
okay.
We can just put your name on it.
There you go.
No. We're gonna share.
And the ball field's done. Number 7 can be taken off.
Okay.
Yeah, they're looking better.
Oh, what energy pools?
So what were the improvements? Were the lines painted, or what
Now,
was?
there's, back in the back, they put a practice field
Oh, right,
and a batting
Batting
cage.
cage and,
Okay.
yeah.
You got a
okay,
new light.
I thought
Yeah,
that was
light.
it, but,
The gate was fixed. Some of the fence is not great. Hopefully that'll get worked into another project, but there's that. At number 6, the master plan for improving the office space at the municipal building. I think I touched on this last 2 weeks ago, whenever, about the order. The front door has been ordered, the light over thing, the windows for in the office have been ordered. We're moving with that. I'm going to be meeting with Carrie, can't think of her last name, from A359, because we still have a credit there regarding some work in the office, so that's where we are on that.
do we know when they'll be done? I think
The-
you mentioned it, but I can't remember what you said.
Well, that was why, if you
Hopeful.
remember last week, I was really in a big rush to get that order in for because that door is like 6 months out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but however, the windows, the 3 windows in the office, now those could come, in another maybe 35, 40 days, something like that, I think, yeah. Get that started. Yeah.
Randy, when you mentioned kind of master plans for, it sounds like safety, painting, the master calendars, so there's that question mark, and then it sounds like there's also like, where do we invest the hot tape versus the paint, that type of thing. Are there other areas that you feel like need, I call them R&R plans, but repair and replace plans, that if we put them on the list, we don't have to assign them now, but then they'll be there, so when they come up, you're not like, I sent an email.
Well, it was,
months
it was in August before,
Yeah.
or late, before school started, and then we did that walk up at the bell tower, and that was on March 1st, because we knew baseball practice was going to start March 15th. And I think we had on the list to paint those lines, because I don't think those yellow curbs have been painted.
On
by the-
Pleasant Street, you mean?
Yeah, by the ball fields.
Yeah.
So we've got that plan, but are there other
Street signs.
street signs?
The street signs, that's with.
Street signs is
you.
another
Yeah.
master plan. We don't have to assign them now, we all have a lot of work on our plate, but if we can note them versus kind of sending one-off emails.
Street signs aren't on here.
But I want to clarify that the plan is kind of with John and Chuck.
Oh,
isn't it?
okay. Oh, is it?
That's-
Then I
I
don't want
mean,
to
that's,
be, I don't want to
I
step
don't
on
think
your
that's
toes.
anything that we're assigning.
Location on, outside of the historical zone or historical district,
Yeah.
our signs aren't up to code.
Right.
So we need to make a decision. What do we want to do? Do we have a plan? Are we going to go with because they're supposed to be reflective, so there's the brown reflective with the white letters, but they're going to be metal, not wood. So
Right, what approach do we take?
yes.
Well, and we have been presented with several options on
Right.
that front to make a decision, You can go with, yes, they're gonna be metal signs, they're gonna be reflective, do we want them to be in the brown and white? Do we want them to be, what colors? My son was very active in pulling together a lot of that information.
Yes.
Regarding, are we just gonna stay with the 4x4 pole, which we could, or we
So
could get
it
metal
sounds like
pole?
you got a lot of data that could go into a committee and they could make a recommendation. Since your son's done all that work, that's great. And let's go ahead and, let's not solve it here. Let's go ahead and put it into a committee
Yeah, I'm just.
and have them get all the data that you've got.
Are we referring to Public Works?
Yeah, we can. I mean, I don't know if it belongs in Public Works or Safety, but yeah, Public Works is fine.
I'm just,
I have all that information. that
Did I
you-
already send you all that side?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll make sure that everything that you have is current. I want to make sure
Okay.
it's up to date. But I do know he pulled together a lot of information.
Yes, he did.
about that. Okay, well, let's put it in Public Works.
Okay.
She can proceed with, and I'll clearly I'll work with you on that, of course. All right, any other?
I just got one. I don't know if anybody else got the letter from Hamilton County Planning and Development. Because remember, we joined, that's HUD, we joined them 2 years ago. So we automatically renew unless we want to opt out.
Well, we haven't even used the grant money they give us.
So
I don't think opting out's a good idea.
what I like, well, we got the $30,000 planning grant.
Right.
Right. Well, and the TDBLG, whatever the other funds too.
The 26.5 for
Yeah,
that.
but that gets up, that's get a
Yeah.
new tranche every 3 years or something like that too.
So I guess that maybe we should add this, if it's okay, the Public Works this Friday, and I can send you a note on that, just so we can make a recommendation that we auto-renew. And we ought to put together a proposal to spend that money to do something.
With the
The
CDBG.
26.5, yep.
Well, again, it could be used for the Dogwood Park.
Yeah,
As long as
just-
you're doing, as long as you're doing
Used for
handicap.
sidewalks
If you're making improvements for handicap access and stuff
Correct.
like that, that's
Yeah.
one of the uses. It was-
Could it be used for signs?
No. We went through a whole bunch of stuff with them when we met with them.
Do we want that in Public Works, or
I
we
think-
put
if I
that in the
remember,
Finance
three of us-
Subcommittee?
Well, I remember
Maybe
the
the
three of us kind
finance.
of worked on this initially.
Yeah, we went
And I don't know
downtown.
if that was Picard.
I think
don't
it
know
was,
why, but
I think it was the Finance Subcommittee.
Well, that was when we were first signing up, but now we're
Right.
getting into actual projects. Because that was, the Finance Committee recommended we join.
Right.
If you want, the Finance Committee, we're also meeting, when is it? I said the 22nd.
Oh, you just got it, right.
That notice I did.
Yes, yes.
That I know.
So do public work, I mean,
Yeah, I think it belongs over there.
Okay.
It's easy. It's an easy.
Thank you, Randy.
yeah.
We good?
So can I bring up setting the meeting up the 22nd, week of the 22nd?
Your meeting?
No. So, Richard is collecting information on the healthcare. The
Oh,
healthcare
yeah,
for
yeah.
full-time
Oh, right,
employees. Are you
right.
okay?
Yep.
The healthcare for full-time employees is in my committee. Richard's collecting information on this potentially other alternative. He's still gathering data. So the earliest we can get together is May 22nd. We have a council meeting that day, so we can't submit a recommendation to council that day. So Richard recommended maybe we get together as a special committee, a special meeting of council later that week, so council can hear the recommendation from the finance committee on what to do about the healthcare plan for full-time employees, and then approve that, because we do need to get back to Center for Local Government about what our decision is.
And when are you talking about?
Week of the 22nd. And then I know you're having a
Are you
great time
going?
with Steve, off having fun.
Actually, my daughter, Steve's staying here.
Okay.
So
I love
did we get a high renewal? Is that what's going on?
Do we what?
Did we get a high renewal, or?
Well, yeah, right now they're saying a 7.5% increase, and so he's exploring some other things to maybe try and get the cost down. That he has seen work in other municipalities or else school districts, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and
I'm
kind of a
just-
combination, actually. So he's sort of trying to shake down a couple of different options, ways to go.
It's below the average right now. in
Well,
renewals.
I think the
Yeah.
initial increase was 10.11.
Yeah, I think it was
And
high, yeah.
the
the
Center for
average right
Local
now.
Government opted to use some of the reserve money to bring it down to 7.5 collectively across the board.
So, week of the 22nd, and if we're all here now, can we look at the calendars and see what folks might be able to get together? Shouldn't be long, again, what, 30
You're talking
minutes?
about a special meeting of council.
Yes,
And our finance meeting's at noon
correct.
on,
So it has to be more than 24 hours after, well, because, yeah, we
Right.
need to pull something together and then give it to council saying, here's what we recommend.
And it did look, there is no mayor's court that week, so.
So the 24th would be,
That's a Wednesday.
I'm open any of those
Mayor's
nights,
Court,
so I'm
right?
looking for you guys.
No, I looked at,
There's not mayor's court?
there is no mayor's court.
24th, no.
24th, 25th, comments?
I can't do the 24th.
what time are we thinking?
Anytime, if it's after 4 o'clock, I'll be fine.
Okay, great. Randall?
I'm good, 23, 25.
Oh, okay, so you're not available on the
23
24th either?
or 25?
I can't be until 24th.
I'm looking, I can do the 25th in the late evening,
What's your definition of late evening?
6 o'clock?
I don't care, that's fine. 6:30, I don't care.
No, 6.
I'm
Six?
sorry.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
6,
6 PM on the 25th?
going once, going twice?
On the 25th?
Correct, the 25th.
That's my 1/12th birthday.
Well, whatever.
Okay, so you want me to go ahead and get in?
Never ends.
And
So
it's
you're
just to
gonna have
discuss the
cupcakes and a bone
healthcare.
again.
It's basically the same thing.
Quit
Okay.
complaining.
That's pretty awesome.
That's good.
That was well played.
Cupcakes and a bone again.
25th.
Well played,
At 6 PM.
Excuse me?
right.
I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be in Edinburgh.
Okay, that's it, right?
Scotland.
Can I ask really quickly, sorry?
Oh,
No, we
Bill.
didn't do, I mean, and John, I welcome your input, but it sounds like with the safety and the curbs and the crosswalks, and also whether it's hot tape or paint, like that has budget implications if we wanna move and try to convert to, stuff that sticks around longer, that takes less labor. So is that a conversation for a committee to kind of figure out a master plan for that stuff? I mean, I'm not
I
trying to
don't-
overstep. If
well,
people
I-
are working on it, I'm just saying it emerged as an issue and then we let it sit there. If
You mean to
people are working
decide, to
about it.
decide between paint and tape? That's what we're talking about here?
No, a plan.
It's
Well,
a
but
it's a
I
plan, but
think
it
that
also
there
sounds
already
like, John,
have-
you don't
isn't-
have the budget to just hot tape everything, and that lasts longer, and it doesn't, right? And you don't necessarily have the staff to do it on a calendar basis. So like, it's a complicated question.
You may not want to tape every intersection
I'm-
if there's
I'm-
more volume. You
How about
might-
if, because Chuck's already working with John and stuff.
Yeah.
If those guys work together and develop a proposal.
Right.
How
Yeah,
about,
that's totally fine. I'm fine with, but I'm just not,
don't leave it hanging.
Yeah,
Let's resolve it.
okay.
All right,
Got it.
adjourn.